Jay and Marie arrive in Prescott, eager to explore the tunnels.
Oh, wow.
We were quite interested to see if there was any paranormal legitimacy behind the claims of them being haunted, and it sounded as if it was promising due to the history.
Underground, it is dark, eerie, and claustrophobic.
A place like this can be prone to paranormal activity due to the energy that was pumped into those locations. I mean, there was a lot of negative, dark things that were happening within these dens and these tunnels. You definitely felt like you weren't alone while you were down there, even if it was just Marie and I standing there.
Jay and Marie try to keep their bearings as they navigate the maze of corridors.
It's kind of a dark and gloomy place, just completely pitch black. Some of the walls are dirt.
Wood falling off on the sides, and there's like broken up glass. The tunnels actually lead all throughout the town, but a lot of these sections were caving in.
There was also tunnels to the side of these dens that look like they led into other chambers. The air becomes dark and muggy. It's very dusty, makes it difficult to breathe. There's a lot of different dangers that we have to worry about.
Your fears can make you think you're hearing or feeling things.
Despite their concerns, they decide to split up to cover more ground. Jay heads into a chamber that's famed for its activity.
One of the first rooms that I recall setting up in was a room that kind of felt odd.
Despite his trepidation, Jay is anxious to make contact with the entities present. But as he sets up a spirit board, a feeling of uneasiness washes over him.
Marie!
Feeling unsettled, Jay becomes concerned not only for his safety, but for Marie's.
Marie! Marie!
In Arizona, husband and wife ghost hunting team Jay and Marie Yates investigate the notorious Prescott tunnels. But after they split up, Jay becomes increasingly worried.
There's a lot of different dangers that we have to worry about.
Marie! Marie!
He goes to look for her to make sure she's okay. Jay witnesses something troubling when he finally finds her.
Marie!
Marie is at this hole, this tunnel, and she's acting like she's gonna crawl in this hole. Kind of like, you know, like, Marie, what the hell are you doing?
Marie?
I have no recall at all of how I got there. But I go into a trance, and I guess I sort of reach into the spirit world.
She kind of looks at me just completely like where you're looking at somebody, but you're almost looking right through them. And like she's being pulled by the spiritual energy. Kind of like usher her away from this hole, because I know she's not kind of like in her right mind. When I do take her away from this hole, she like kind of starts coming back to herself a little bit.
What's going on?
Despite Jay's efforts, Marie is not out of danger yet.
What's wrong? Marie, look at me, look at me, look at me. What's wrong? Oh my God, what's wrong?
All of a sudden I felt like, almost like a stinging, just a bad burning sensation.
Oh, ankle.
I'm like, oh my God, my leg. I think I probably just got bit.
Ow!
She discovers it's much, much worse.
It's actually affecting the whole back of my leg. I mean, it's starting to burn. It really hurts.
She's in some serious pain.
What is it? What is it?
She shows me her leg, and she has like a sharp scratch wound on her leg. I'm looking to see if there's any tears in the clothing, but there wasn't.
Okay, we need to get out of here. Please stand up, please stand up.
Jay believes the attack is paranormal.
I really sincerely believe that, these spirits that are down there are opportunist hunters, and they were looking as predators for prey. And in this particular situation, it was Marie, and they were trying to isolate her. They were trying to take her away from me. They had the ability to drift her away from safety and into the arms of danger. I think that if she would have gone in that hole, I don't think she would have had a good return back.
Although in severe pain, Marie insists on continuing the investigation. They head back into the first chamber. Jay starts a spirit board session, but he's not prepared for what happens next.
As I was about to put my hand on the planchette, it shoots across the board. I kind of yelled, jumped back, and she's like, "What's going on?" And I'm like, the planchette moved, and I'm like trying to in my mind come up with rational explanations, because that's very unusual for something like that to happen. I really did believe that I was in the presence of a spirit. It shook me up a little bit.
He has a frightening physical reaction.
His stomach started hurting him. Felt like he was gonna throw up, and his head started hurting him. Jay is not the type of person to actually get sick while he's actually on an investigation. It's very rare.
In Arizona, while investigating haunted tunnels beneath the town of Prescott, ghost hunter Jay Yates comes under attack.
I really did believe that I was in the presence of a spirit.
Jay is not the type of person to actually get sick while he's actually on an investigation. It's very rare. He was coming in contact with the spirit. And I believe that the way the spirit was reaching out to him is affecting his body and how he was feeling.
Once they leave the chamber, Jay starts to feel well enough to continue with the investigation. He tempts fate with something daring.
I informed Marie that I wanted to be by myself, and I wanted to perform a sensory experiment.
About ready to do the FSO experiment, fear sensory overload, by myself, Opium Den, Whiskey Row, Prescott, Arizona.
My idea is to increase my fear response, which then enhances the emotional energy within the room. I was kind of reluctant to do it. Honestly, I was kind of worried.
Really kind of scared to do this right now, to be honest with you.
For this experiment, Jay suppresses his senses.
I was kind of fearful to do it. I had to push myself to actually go through with it, but I wanted to see if I could potentially make contact with the other side.
Almost immediately, a wave of paranoia hits Jay. He starts to panic.
My heart rate increased, began to sweat. I began to be very paranoid of my surroundings. Something walked into the room where I was alone. You can hear the dirt being kicked around, and it sounded like something was right up next to the mic. I witnessed images of people standing around me. You can't really make out faces, you can't really make out details. These reddish images of these people standing right in front of me, so it was frightening. On this particular instance, I'm definitely feeling an emotion of anger, confusion, disorientation, and I'm also hearing sounds. Marie comes through the door, and she's trying to get my attention.
I'm probably not even 3 feet away from him. I said, Jay. He didn't respond.
Jay?
Marie worries for her husband's safety and decides to interrupt the experiment.
Jay? Jay? Jay?
I did tap him on his leg to try to get his attention.
And I rip off my goggles and hear Maria standing in front of me, so I kind of had this emotional reaction.
I startled him very badly.
Definitely was something that was disorienting to the point of almost nausea and sickness.
Jay?
With increased
Jay,
activity and Jay's unsteadiness,
What's wrong?
it's far too risky to continue on.
We need to get out of here.
Let's go.
Go.
When they're back above ground, they review their footage. It confirms what Jay had sensed all along.
I legitimately had what appears to be, a supernatural occurrence. By the end of the investigation, I really felt that the opium dens did harbor intelligent spiritual energy and that they were in fact haunted.
The events to this day still weigh on Jay and Marie.
There's several dangers within this den and tunnel. I feel that if we would have stayed longer at the investigation, you're going to get hurt by the spirit. I wasn't willing to risk myself or Marie's safety.
This investigation has left them with more questions than answers.
I think we'd both be willing to go back there and give it another go. Specifically, I would like to know who it was that touched or attempted to attack Marie.
Was the same person that was messing with me, the same person that was messing with Jay,